Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm James L. Allen. This is James L. Allen Country Cooking and Variety Show. I'm saying good afternoon, but wherever you are, it might be morning, it might be evening. I'm not sure, but hey, glad you tuned in. I'm here today in Sacramento, California with the President and CEO of the Greater Sacramento Urban League, Mr. James Shelby. Mr. Shelby, it's
Hi,
a pleasure.
My pleasure, Mr. Jackson.
We were introduced by a good friend that's on the show, and he's a regular. That's Dr. John Jackson. And he told me, he said, you need to give Mr. Shelby a call. He's a friend of mine. He's a good man. And I only talk with you a little bit here, and I think so too. Okay?
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're very modest.
How long have you been involved with the Urban League here?
Actually, my first involvement was probably around 1978. I was working for the state, and I was always take information back to the Urban League if they had a grant or something that I came across. Then I got on the board, I think around 1980. I served approximately about 6 or 8 years on the board. Okay. Then I moved on, and I had a state career. And so I've been involved off and on probably about 25 years total.
It sounds like it's really a passion of yours, huh?
Well, it is.
Okay.
It has been a great passion.
See, whatever you like doing, you're usually pretty good at it.
Say again?
I said, whatever you like doing, you're usually really good at it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to, things I like to do, that's what I try to excel in. But hey, tell me more about what you guys do for the community here.
Well, the Urban League was founded in 1910. And it was founded when African Americans were moving from the north to the south looking for a better way of life. And what they found in urban cities was they got caught with low-income housing, they had low access to education, no jobs training. So the Urban League was formed in 1910 to address those issues. They had street academies for kids who were not doing well in school. And so the Urban League is really known traditionally throughout the country for basically employment connection and working with corporate community and trying to make the lives of African Americans better in whatever city they live in.
Well, I came a couple of weeks ago. I think you were out of state at the time, but my wife and I, we were really impressed with the facilities here. You know, you're doing a really good thing for the community, which I'm sure this is what the Urban League does all across the country, but I'm concerned with in my community here in Sacramento. But tell me, you said you're originally from Mississippi. What prompted you to come to California?
Well, getting out of Mississippi.
Okay, that's a good reason.
In those days, for African Americans, the military was a way out of racism and discrimination. So after failure in college, I joined the military, and I spent 8 years in the Air Force trying to find myself. And actually, I did 8 years later, and I ended up in Vietnam, and I came to Sacramento, and I got stationed here, and didn't know anyone here 40-some years ago. And so basically, I got involved. I got married and had children, so I got involved with PTA and Little League and learned how to raise money. And it seemed like every Little League team or football team I ran into, they had no equipment, had to raise money to buy equipment and help kids who were fatherless. And so basically, from that passion, I learned how to, fundraising is simply asking people for money. All they can say is no. And if you can handle the no's, then you'll do okay.
Okay, that's what I was telling someone about having guests on my show a lot of times. Some, they're well known all over. And I said, if you ask somebody, there's only two things they can do. They can say, yes, I'll do it, or no, hey, I'm on.
That's right.
Now, I know I'm from Oklahoma, and you're from Mississippi, but I was working with youth back in Oklahoma. And they were complaining about these kids hanging out in the parking lots, but they weren't giving them anything to do. Well, I had an outdoor arena. I started some classes there at different times, and I got a call one day from this lady that ran Good Morning Oklahoma. It was the ABC affiliate show back there. And she said, James, I heard what you're doing down in your area with the youth. Would you like to be on my Good Morning Oklahoma show? Okay, I'd like to be there. Well, she said her sports department out, and they did a special on the place. We had a few people. We went from a few people to thousands of people. And we got people, the police department volunteered, came out and did time, okay? But what you're doing, it's enough about me. Tell me more about you.
Well, I was born in Mississippi. I was raised on a farm. We had 40 acres, and we raised everything that we ate. We chicken, geese, ducks, turkeys, you name it, we raised it. And so each brother or sister had an acre that they would grow, and then we sell it to the local cannery. And so that when you're 12 years old in my household, my father didn't buy you school clothes after that.
Yes, that
Said,
sounds familiar.
yeah,
That
he said,
sounds
you're a
familiar.
man now, you got to start earning your own
Yeah.
way. And so I've always had a passion for, I went through an apprenticeship program at McClellan Air Force Base. And I learned then that through training and development, that you can start an occupation where you know nothing. But through apprenticeship, I was able to learn how to be a machinist over a 3-year period. Went to Sac City College at night, and I got my degree in business administration and my apprenticeship certificate at the same time. I was able to do them in 3 years.
Okay.
And so I graduated from Sac State, and I went to work in the state, and I've been elected official. I've been in Citrus Heights. I'm probably one of the few African Americans in the state to say they build a city from scratch.
Okay.
And I was successful as a councilman and mayor, and I'm through with politics. And so
Okay.
basically the Urban
You're saying, yeah, but you're
no,
not.
I'm done.
You're
The Urban
saying-
League, the Urban League is really an untold asset in the community, and I wished more African Americans would contribute more to the Urban League, because we're here for the foundation of the community. And so what we've done is been able to pull ex-offenders. We work between those who have dropped out of high school and can't get into community college, welfare mothers trying to get a second chance on life, or those who've been in prison and now they're out and trying to re-engage back in the community. So basically, Urban League has filled that gap. And so we work with the business community, and we have a board of directors, and typically most business and some community people. What we try to do is to raise money to help relieve some of the poverty that exists in our community, and also give people a hands up. You know, today it's very difficult to get a hand up. You know, they would love to give you a handout
Yeah.
and restrain you, but at the same time, all we're asking for, and I think all our young men in our community, they want to work.
That's it.
But we have to give them an opportunity to train and understand, because some kids have gone through generations and they haven't seen their families work. But so we have to change that attitude, and we have to do training. And what we do, once you come into Urban League, we believe that, you know, hand-holding is important the first few weeks that you're here. And people have been discriminated in all aspects of our environment. So what we try to do is make sure they're comfortable here, no fear of discrimination, and people can come and study, and they can get a certificate and move on to an occupation that allows them to get involved in the economic mainstream of America. And that's simply what we do.
Now, I'm ashamed to say this, but I came here a few weeks ago when you were out of town, and I never knew what you guys did until I came. And like I told my wife when I got home, I said, look, and I told your assistant over here, I said, now, I'm going to push you guys. I'm going to put you out there even more, because what you're doing is really a good thing for this community, okay?
And we want to do more, but we're limited by resources. I'm trying to get the churches to understand, you send me your wounded, and I'll send you back a titer.
Okay.
And so, but sometimes our churches don't get that message and understand that every time a kid in their church get a job, they have a better chance of getting their kid to tithe,
Yeah.
of giving more to the church and the community.
That's
But
right.
without a job, we all are going to suffer.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, hey, like I said, I came, I saw, and first thing, my wife, she's really particular. She said the facility is so nice and clean. Okay, that was the first thing. I said, yeah, but look, the classes that they're teaching to these young people, you know, they're not all just not, you know, high school, you know, dropouts or whatever, you know, but you got all ages.
Yeah, we just we're doing a Comcast show. We just recently, in partnership with Comcast, we started an after-school program teaching A+ certification to 21 youth in the community. These are kids from Grant High School who can walk over in the evening. Out of 21 in 9 months, 18 completed,
Okay, that's
and they
good.
got their
That's good.
certificates. So now they have the ability to do computer repair, they have the ability to install programming, and they also have the ability to get on the state certification list for technology. And so basically we have moved the barriers from those young people and placed them into where they can have an opportunity to be successful. And this fall, we're planning our first STEM class. You know, you got Silicon Valley, it's lack of diversity. So we're bringing some high school students in the evening. We're gonna work with Intel in terms of provide some STEM training and coding for young people so that they can begin to get another heads up. And then we're working with Hacker Lab. We're trying to get a Hack the Hood. We're trying to get Hacker Lab to bring, we had a Hacker Lab on a Saturday, a weekend. I think we had 100 and some kids that participated
That's
that
good.
weekend,
That's
and it was a
good.
great experience for urban youth. And we have to expose our young people to all the opportunities that are out there in the world. and give them an opportunity to start dreaming again about what they want to do when they grow up.
Now, I've always told, I know you've heard it too, to be a good leader, which it seems like you're indeed that, you have to be a good follower too. Okay.
Well, I follow Jesus,
Okay,
so
okay.
as long as somebody who's I'm following is following that, I'm okay. But in terms of our community, there won't be another Martin Luther King.
That's true.
And so what we have to do is create multiple Dr. Kings in neighborhoods. But we have an African American community today that we're very laxed. Those who have made it don't typically reach back to pull somebody else up. So what is happening is it's our fault because our communities are suffering. We should do something about violence, black on black violence. And so we should do that ourselves. And so through our churches, through our community, we just got to reach back into the neighborhoods that we once lived in and do a better job of making sure that those kids and young people get access to the mainstream that we've had.
Well, I agree with you in the fact that there are athletes, there are actors and actresses out here that are millionaires that don't give back to their community. Okay, I like Grant Hill and his wife. They go, they build new homes for people that aren't fortunate enough to get there. Kind of like, I've made mine, I've given back, and I figure as long as you do give back, God always opens a way for you. Okay.
Sometimes our young athletes, they get caught up with these agents, and they're directed more to the agents' charities than they are to. Just imagine if just the King basketball players pool their resources together and say, we want to do something about Del Paso Heights or Meadowview, we can make changes overnight.
Oh, yeah.
But we have people live in our community, make money in our community, and they have no foundation in our community.
Now, Diana Ross and a couple other things, Prince, they say, hey, learn to do. I see a lot of these athletes, a lot of these millionaires, and they're millionaires today, they're broke tomorrow, because they're leaving everything up to someone else, and they don't know what that someone else is doing to them until they look up and say, hey, you're bankrupt, okay? But like you said, there's enough people involved with the Kings to lift us up to another level, okay?
Absolutely.
You mentioned Comcast, Channel 18. That's where we're seen on Channel 18 at Comcast. We're in the Comcast studio. I'm glad that they're working with you guys, okay? To me, it seems like I've only talked to you a few minutes, but you got the right person at the helm. Okay.
Well, what we're trying to do is there are a lot more occupations we want to bring, but we're trying to get the message to employers. If you have a need, come see the Urban League, and we can do short-term training. Whatever training you need, we can establish it here. We can change on a dime. And so we want to focus more on after-school programs. And we're actually focused, I have a group of educators who are working trying to figure out how we can get an all-male charter school. Because we want to take some of our young men and bring them in and really show them a new way of life and how to be successful. We started a new apprenticeship program. With the advent of the arena, we have 26 young men who enroll in apprenticeship programs. A lot of them are ex-offenders because the construction industry typically don't care about the background, for certain issues. And we've got those 26 people, and they're working in the region now. We had one couple who was Hispanic. They came in, and they're now working. Both are working. They were making $0 an hour. Now they're making $36 an hour coming in at a household that had $0 before.
Okay. Well, I listen to T.D. Jakes a lot, and other ministers and other people say it too. Nothing just happens. Everything happens for a reason. Now, you were put at the helm of this for a reason, and it seems like you're doing a heck of a job at it.
Well, I wasn't. When I initially got a call that I want to do this, I had to pray over it. Okay. And actually, in my prayer, I actually saw a training, people in a building doing training.
Visualized. Okay.
And so when I woke up, that was my vision when I came to Urban League, was to build a training center that the community could benefit from. And so everything we started out, things just seemed to come together. And we started out with UC Davis gave us a 25,000 square feet for 5 years. They paid the rent. It was about a $6 million investment over a 5-year period. At the end of that 5 years, we had raised enough money to move here. We got $1.5 million from the federal government, Vic Fazio. We got $1.6 million from Sacramento City Redevelopment Agency. Then we raised $2.5 million. Okay. And so this building was built in 2000. And the challenge now is we're down to the 16th year and we're down in major repairs. We've got 3 compressors that need to be replaced. So we're at that crucial point now where fundraising is really crucial in terms of the maintenance that we have to do on the building, in addition to keeping our programs going forward.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm going to try to help you any kind of way I can. We're going to put you out there to the public more, and you're just doing a great thing for the community of all races, and I like that. I like that.
Inclusion is, we can't preach it if we don't do it ourselves. And so there's a lot more we could do. I can envision a training class in every church in a region in Sacramento, but the churches have to come forward and say, we got the space, we can buy the computers, we can get someone to go out and do the training. And we have to have that partnership if we're going to move this community. It just can't be the Urban League. Right. And a lot of people in this region who are getting our money, we're the biggest spender in America. But we get nothing back from the auto dealership.
That's a fact.
We get nothing back from retail. And so basically the people who've been supporting the Urban League has been bankers, it's been private investors, but basically people take our money, but they don't like to help rebuild our community. We have to stop that. And I believe that the only way you get attention is if you don't spend your money, people listen to you. Yeah. If you go back to the 60s, when we didn't shop certain places, laws broke down. So we have to learn how to use our economics collectively to make a difference in America.
Okay, well, I was saying about my grandfather, that's what he did back in the 1700s. He said, don't buy vegetables from those that got slaves, okay? And it caught with some and some it didn't, but it was a start. Now, tell me I've got a couple of minutes left to wrap this up, and I'm not going to say anymore because what you got to say is a lot more important than what I've got to say. You go ahead.
Well, thank you. I want to just let everyone know we have a couple events coming up. We have a comedy event that Robert, a comedian, has donated his time to the Urban League. And so basically we're having an event at Mama Kim's. We'll probably have some music and some comedians. And we're just been an evening of having fun and getting people to relax and enjoy themselves. Then we have our jobs fair that's coming up in February. And that's, we try to get employers to come to the community and who have jobs, and we bring the community in to bring them access. That's people that are not in addition to the people not in our building, people in the community. Then we have our big event, the Unity Ball, which will be held in April. That's our big fundraiser. And then we want to have access to Community Care Day in May. We want to make sure we get the message out about the Urban League, so when donors have a choice, they'll consider the Urban League. We got to tell our story more than we've been telling our story.
Okay, I want to say right now, I want to thank Dr. John Jackson again for connecting us together, okay? Yeah. All you viewers out there, you'll see more of Mr. Shelby and his organization here and what the good that they do for the community, okay? Because every time you tune on to James L. Allen Country Cooking and Variety, you will see what's going on in this building.
I just want to say a special thanks to Dr. Jackson. We met at the Mercedes dealership with our cars, and so basically today, this is what happens when another African American hears you're doing something and they reach out and they try to help. That's all we got to do.
That's it.
Help each other.
Yeah.
And then our community will be a better place to live.
I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure meeting you today, and sounds like we'll be connected from now on.
Yeah, I always look forward to airtime. Okay. Especially when it's free.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, my name is Quantel Summerfield, and I am in the A+ certification program. And I learned about this because I went to Calvary Christian, and they had a flyer basically saying that this school called the Sacramento Urban League is having a lot of programs that could help me get into a career path that could help me get a better life. So I wanted to get into the A+ certification program because I feel like the world is being taken over by computers. So I thought that since it is, that would be a perfect route for me to go.
Hello, my name is Mong Moa. I'm 33 years old. Took the opportunity to come to the Urban League, found out through my caseworker, as I just recently moved here to Cali. And I noticed the opportunity for the A+ certification. So I did talk to them in regards of how can I get into that class.
Hey, I'm Ryan Blake Henry, known as Blake. I'm a part of the A+ Cert program here at the Urban League.
My name is Brandy Hill. I found out actually about the Urban League by watching the news one day. I had heard about a pre-apprenticeship program and thought it might interest me. So I went online, looked some information to get some more information about what the program was and what it entailed, and actually stumbled upon the A+ certification class, the PC technician. It said that, it was more of a hands-on approach, which is what I've been looking for, something that's going to actually show me exactly what to do. Because a lot of times with IT, I think they assume that you already know, or that you can find the answers very quickly and easily. And I wanted something that was a little bit more involved.
The class is very good. It's run by a lady named Alita, and she's very nice. She's helped me out a lot, and now I'm starting to understand a lot more about computers than I did before.
My name is Alita Jones, and I'm the A+ certification instructor. Our class is 16 weeks, and it does a combination of break fix, installation of software, tearing a computer apart, putting it back together. Deals with a little bit of networking and a lot of challenges, but a lot of fun.
She's a great instructor. I enjoy just being there in her class. And the students there are just truly amazing because they're all trying to do what you're trying to do, get their cert, but they're trying to benefit you. They're all trying to help you. Like if you don't understand something, they're going to help you. They're not like they're trying to just get to the top by themselves. Everybody's just trying to help you, lift you to become a better student, to understand something.
Since I've been here, it's been a really nice environment. Everyone has been very welcoming, very honest. They've given us a lot of good information.
I'm learning about like CPUs, the motherboard, basically how the computer's basically built. Right now we're doing a little project on taking apart the computer and figuring out how it works, how to put the computer back together, put it back in, and all that.
Currently what they're doing is they're actually working on tearing the computer apart and putting it back together. And how we actually work our class is we actually do a team approach, and they help each other. Some of them already put their computer completely together, and now they're actually helping one another to ensure that their computers are up and running.
Well, the Greater Sacramento Urban League has helped me to actually further my vision on what it is that I'd like to do with my life and my time. The A+ certification for me is one of the last steps that I need to actually get into the IT field.
And going this path or this career choice, for me, it actually helps me out. It's going to connect me to my future, my end goal.
I didn't know. I'm 19 years old and I'm very young, and I just got out of high school, and I didn't know what I wanted to go down. I didn't know what path I wanted to go. But since I found this, I know now what I want to do.
The ways I plan to give back to the Urban League are to volunteer more to the youth. I want to make sure that they are computer savvy, because the more we get on to the future and technology, the more computers are going to advance, and that's how I really want to get back.
If I could do anything to come back and help, that would be great. I would love to do helping in the classroom. I know we've got some TAs that work in the classroom that were in the class before. Definitely not mind doing that, helping people to get to the point where they can actually complete their A+ certification as well.
We're a team, we're a family. We're all in this class together. And if one person can't figure it out, we will find the answer.
My name is Donald Payne. I am a case manager and a job developer here at the Greater Sacramento Urban League. I've been a part of the Team Urban League here for about a year now. My job here at the Urban League is I am a job developer, which means I go out and I talk to employers and try to marry up jobs that they have potentially coming available, as well as our folks that are in our training, and try to put those together and make them compatible. During this time, we also have an orientation that we have every Wednesday at 10 o'clock here at the Greater Sacramento Urban League. And the orientation covers everything in our program, all the programs that we have, the times, and the programs, how they're paid for. The programs, for the most part, are paid for by scholarships. So if a person qualifies, they'll be allowed to attend the class with no out-of-pocket cost to them. So of the many programs that we do have in the Urban League here, one in particular is the pre-apprenticeship program, the construction pre-apprenticeship programs. This program, we partnered with different construction companies throughout the Greater Sacramento area. And this allows folks to become a pre-apprentice and to potentially join into a labor union. So the potential for folks to have a better life, to be empowered and to change their lives is a greater chance for that to happen. So at our orientation, our plan is to find out what the person is interested in, if we have programs that will allow us to help that person segue into a career field, and to help that person get connected with the right training. So now that you know of all the different ways that you can help the Greater Sacramento Urban League in our community, we ask you to come help, empower communities, and to change lives. Thank you.
And I'm writing you this letter in hopes that you might understand. Please.